Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. If the SEC had their way, Ripple wouldn't even be allowed to have a defense in the case of SEC versus Ripple while they're claiming that XRP was sold as a security. And indeed, SEC keeps stooping lower and lower and lower, showing that they have no moral compass and no ethics whatsoever. They're now seeking to get the court to rid Ripple of basically their key defense. One of the key defenses at a minimum here. So here's a headline from crypto media outlet U Today. SEC files motion to strike Ripple's key defense. Pretty self-explanatory. So gonna go through that. Also, there's an asshat that you may be aware of named Jay Clayton, former chair of the SEC. He's now a talking head over at CNBC. Yes, indeed, he is a paid contributor, and he's talking about cryptocurrency stuff. And something rather hilarious happened today. And so we're going to break down all the important stuff. You know, will the SEC find that Ripple's key defense is not usable, admissible, whatever word you want to use in this particular court case? Is this, because look, mind you, the SEC has actually filed a motion to make sure that Ripple can't use this defense. Will they find success there? You know, will Jay Clayton ever acknowledge that he's an asset? Will we ever find out if a tomato is a fruit or a vegetable? I'll tell you what, I'm going to answer all of these hard-hitting questions in this latest Moon Lambo hot jam. Thanks for stopping by. We're just going to have a killer time here today. Shout out to XRP Crypto Wolf for sending this first piece my way. I really appreciate it. I'll tell you, this guy is a machine. What an XRP bot. He sends me incredible stories every single day, like literally every single day with, well, rare exception. And it's impressive. I appreciate it so much. I wish I could cover everything that he sends my way, but I always want to give credit where it's due because look, there's a reason that he has a following of, 122,000 people on Twitter now. Incredible. You're killing it, son. Much appreciated. Anyway, into this piece, though. Check this out. In its recently filed motion to strike, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission says that Ripple, including CEO Brad Garlinghouse and co-founder Chris Larsen, actually had notice that its offer of XRP could violate federal securities law. So let me pause right there. What you're going to find as I go through this is that the SEC is basically making the case right now that Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen should have known, did know, that selling XRP, that of course that represented an investment contract, that it was a transaction of an unregistered security. That's what they're arguing, and that point that they're making, they're saying, is enough to make it so that Ripple should not be allowed to use this powerful defense in court, right? Rather than make that argument in court, they're making the same argument now before the court case arrives and saying it's the same thing, because look, functionally it's the same thing they'll say if it gets to court, but they're saying it now and arguing that this means that they knew. Well, what the hell kind of disingenuous bullcrap is that? They know what they're doing is not ethical. They know that this is crap. This deserves to be argued absolutely. There's a strong case to the contrary, and you want them silenced. The SEC, you want them to be silenced here. And the piece continues. Ripple's key fair notice defense is based on the premise that the SEC had failed to notify the company about its alleged violations of the securities laws. The agency, however, insists that it has been enforcing securities laws in the cryptocurrency industry throughout all these years. The motion says that Ripple Garlinghouse actually read the DAO report, which states that raising capital with crypto is subject to securities laws. And here's a quote. But the SEC was undeniably enforcing the securities laws in the digital asset space in which Ripple operated, and using official agency channels like enforcement actions and the DAO report, and SEC staff were also providing views in no-action letters, staff guidance, and speeches by senior agency officers. End quote. And so that's supposed to be enough. Oh, yes, well, of course we should have known that. Never mind that you, SEC asshats, you went ahead and talked to hedge funds and cryptocurrency exchanges about XRP specifically, and these entities, they made their case as to why they believe that XRP is not a security, said, hey, we're going to go ahead and trade it. You didn't stop them. Well, if you were so sure of it, why didn't you stop them And if you weren't sure at that point in time, why are you expecting that Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson should have known? You are a bunch of bad people. You cannot be trusted. You are unethical. This is not okay behavior. You are not adults. And this is why we cannot have nice things. This is why we cannot have nice things. The SEC argues that Ripple failed to seek a no-action letter before the agency started investigating the company in 2018, and here's a quote. Ripple was on actual notice that the securities laws could apply and took no steps to obtain no-action relief to either clarify what it thought might be unclear, an avenue that was being pursued by other market participants at the time. Okay, so could we flip that back around and say, okay, Ripple conducted business for 8 years and then you went after them. Why couldn't you have provided clarity sooner? Well, the answer is you didn't want to because you didn't know what the hell to do yourself. Rather than, and since you don't know what to do, what you're doing is terrible. You are regulating through enforcement rather than providing clear guidelines. Rather than supporting these companies that have clearly been operating in good faith to the best of their ability, given that there isn't sufficient regulatory clarity, rather than support them and say, okay, here's a path moving forward. Everybody else, look, there wasn't, you could just say this. You say, look, there wasn't sufficient regulatory clarity. You guys were here first, engaging in this space. You could just say, okay, free pass, but sort of, but here's the actual guidelines you do have to abide by. And now everybody moving forward, this is what the landscape looks like. And so look, the SEC just getting litigious AF. That's just how they have decided that they want to behave. So ultimately, what's going to happen here? Well, we got points from at least a couple attorneys that you may be familiar with to this point, including John Deaton, who is famous within the XRP community, I think it's safe to say at this point, for a couple of reasons, including the fact that he's seeking to go against the SEC in terms of actually filing a class action lawsuit. He also has filed a motion to intervene in the SEC versus Ripple case itself, which would be amazing if they get any sort of traction with that. I am really hoping that he does, because I think it's deserved, because XRP holders' interests are not being sufficiently represented to this point. And that's not a dig against Ripple either, mind you. It shouldn't be their responsibility. XRP isn't even a damn security, and it's being used by so many different people, building all sorts of products out, all sorts of developers building all sorts of products out. And so, of course, I wouldn't expect Ripple to, and clearly the SEC, what, you think they care about investors? They've demonstrated they absolutely do not. But here's what John Deaton had to say. So Hinman and Clayton, I should preface this too, because just in case you're not from, so Clayton, he would be the former SEC chair. And then there's Hinman, William Hinman, who was a former SEC director. And so they were at the SEC at the same time. While they were there, they made it very clear that Bitcoin, they verbally stated this anyway, Bitcoin and Ethereum, not securities, right? And so John Deaton wrote the following. So Hinman and Clayton can tell the world that Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities, but a private company like Coinbase approaches it and informs the SEC that it believes XRP, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, are not securities and intend to list it, and the SEC can't say anything about it. BS. I'm with you on that one, Mr. Deaton. It doesn't make a damn bit of sense at all. They were, and I think we have suspicions, right? I've already talked about it in so many videos. I won't get into it in this one, but in case you're wondering what I'm thinking of, the optics of what Hinman and Clayton have done, not so favorable. It is the case that their policies have benefited firms that they were previously with, law firms. And they were, in fact, in the case of Hinman, he was getting paid by his previous employer while he was director at the SEC. He was making way more money from his previous employer. And after his time at the SEC, after he benefited really anybody that had an interest in Ethereum, which includes his law firm, he went back to his law firm, working there again. What the hell kind of incestual relationship is that? That is disgusting. That is not okay. But that is what happened here. And so they could talk about Bitcoin, they could talk about Ethereum, but they can't talk about XRP. That doesn't sound so good as far as Moon Lambo is concerned. And then there was this from attorney Jeremy Hogan, who writes, there are two reasons I am fairly confident the motion to strike will not be granted. First, the bar is very high on a motion to strike. The court must find the claim or defense so tenuous that it is a waste of time to even pursue. Motions to strike are rarely granted. And so right there, before I even go further with what Jeremy has to say, given that is the case and the SEC's knows that, what the hell are they talking about? There are arguments to be made. Very firm, legitimate arguments. And even if the SEC thinks those arguments are wrong, it is not okay to just try and make a move like this. Because look, they're throwing everything they can at this, including the kitchen sink, and hoping that everything they throw just sticks. So I don't even think that they're expecting this to stick. They're just hoping there because you never know. So they can just behave like this. To me, it's repulsive. It's absolutely disgusting. Anyway, Jeremy continues. The second reason I don't think it will be granted is the Upton case. It's blinding precedent, Second Circuit, in a case that is factually similar. Read the last 4 paragraphs if you are interested. And I don't want this video to go too long. Maybe we can talk about it some other time. And then you wrote, finally, sorry I didn't chime in earlier on this issue. I have been nursing some whiplash stemming from watching the price of XRP plummet. Ouch. Which I think is a funny thing to say. To me, and I'm not going to talk about price in this video, but I'll just say I was just fine. I do not emotionally get bothered by that stuff. Now, here's XRP community member Frecky, who retweeted something from Jungle Inc., my fellow XRP YouTuber. And Jungle Inc., he tweeted out the following. Look what POS slithered from under his rock today. You gotta be S-wording me. This guy is going to be the go-to for crypto analysis going forward. And he's got this screen grab of an asshat named Mr. Clayton. And he's on CNBC saying stuff about crypto. And I watched the segment. Frankly, I'm not even going to talk about the specifics of the segment because, first of all, it didn't have anything to do with XRP and it was rather dry. Maybe it was interesting to somebody who knows nothing about crypto. And I did not commit to memory what the hell they talked about. It was just so not interesting to me. But I did suffer through it. And so it just turns out that Jay Clayton here, he is a contributor for CNBC. That's one of the things that he's doing right now. And when you're a contributor for CNBC, that is indeed a paid position. And so Frecky wrote the following. XRP community member Frecky, and he tagged me in this. So thank you very much, Frecky, for tagging me. I do appreciate it. And wrote the following. And he tagged CNBC and wrote, CNBC, you all look real bad now. He is the last person you want on this show talking about crypto. He knows nothing. Research his activities. Try not to bend your knee to him. Pathetic. So a couple things on this, and I love diversity thought. Hopefully you do too. So I might have an unpopular opinion now, and hopefully that's okay, and you guys don't decide that you hate me. I think that we should all be able to, believe various things having to do with Ripple and XRP and crypto, and that not be a problem. So I got to tell you, and you know my position on Jay Clayton. I do not respect him in the least. I think his behaviors are reprehensible. So at this point, I think it's fair for me to say I think that I'm biased against him, and you listening to this, given that this is an XRP-centric channel, I'm guessing that you are too, and for good reason. He's absolutely, it's just reprehensible what he's done, just causing literally just billions of dollars in damages to XRP holders, right? Even though the price rebounded, there's all sorts of people that because of his actions, and he and some others at the SEC, they panic sold, and just I'm disgusted by that. There was no imminent danger, and he acted on the last full day of work at the SEC doing this. It's awful, right? So we're all going to agree on that, I think. Now, despite that being the case, the fact that he is a contributor, a paid contributor at CNBC, that's not peculiar to me. So he can believe firmly what he thinks, and despite his unethical behavior, I'd characterize it as that. And the way that he's looked at crypto in general, I disagree with him. But here's the way that I look at stuff. When I disagree with somebody on something, especially if it's something very important to me, I don't want to silence the opposition. I want them to be able to articulate their case. And if my case is better, then it's going to win. In the minds of the general public, the vast majority of people, if my case is that superior, that much more superior, the vast majority of people that listen to me are going to say, yeah, that Moon Lambo guy with a stupid name, he makes more sense than that asshat, Jay Clayton, right? That's probably what they'd say, right? But if he has the more logical point of view with facts behind it, more sensical, well, then maybe when you put his views against my views, maybe more people will find his case to be compelling. And so rather than silence people, I want people that have opposing viewpoints to have thoughtful discourse in public. And so, despite his reprehensible behavior, I still think that he should be able to speak in public. And yeah, he's paid, and he's not always talking about crypto stuff. He just happened to be because the crypto market's down. I don't have a problem with him being on CNBC talking about this. It seemed to me that a lot of people in the XRP community did not like this and think he shouldn't be on there. I have no problem with it. I think I agree with Frecky. He's got all sorts of bad ideas surrounding crypto. I just don't want to. With crypto, I just don't want to silence him. I think that if CNBC wants him on there, they should, but they should also balance that out with other people that have various viewpoints, and they do that. Like Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse has been on here saying his piece too. So like, I don't have any beef with this. I think that they should be able to do that, and if people find the segment interesting, I happen to not have. Nothing against CNBC, I just didn't enjoy the segment. More power to them. This is what they should do. If this is what their viewers want, and it's fine. Right? I just don't have a beef with it whatsoever. So I say good for them for having that on the channel. Uh-oh. I think my dog's about to vomit. Guys, this is... Hold on a second. Come here, Pete. Come here. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Are you going to vomit? Oh, my God. Hold on. Pete, go out. If you're going to vomit, do it out there. Oh, my God. She's got that thing. I'm sorry, guys. I can't believe this. She barked yesterday, and that was like one of 3 times ever in 2.5 years. And now she's, I don't know if you guys will have dogs, but like when they're about to vomit, like at least mine, she does this thing where it's like, and I could see her doing that, so I just wanted to get her off the carpet. Welcome to a Moon Lambo video, guys. Welcome to a Moon Lambo. This is what you guys come here for. I'm sorry for the distraction there. I'll move on. Freaking! This is why she's peeve. You know, she's a 6-year-old terrier mix, and I named her Peeve because she is my pet peeve. But Moon Lambo funny. Anyway, you know what? I've said my piece on that. I'll just move on. Also, wanted to highlight that Jungle Link. I think this is hilarious. Jungle Link changed his Twitter profile picture to this. You're just gonna have to look at the screen. It's Jay Clayton. That was cracking up. And then this. This is his little, what do you call this part of the, I can't even think straight because I think my dog's vomiting out there now. I can't even think straight up. But these crazy eyes, I know that's Jay Clayton. He's got these crazy eyes here, and I know what that's from, too. It's this moment when he was getting interviewed. Actually, I think it might have been on CNBC. Somebody was asking him, it was a reporter asking him, okay, so XRP, is it a security? Could you provide clarity? And he goes, I hope I just have. And he was like smirking like a jerk. And then he just kept saying, if XRP is a security or something security, then we're going to regulate it, effectively, is what he said. Oh, yeah, she's vomiting. I don't know if that's picking up on the mic. She's in another room now. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to clean that up, guys. This is going to be so fun. Moon Lambo videos are the best videos. You can hear dogs vomit. Anyway, so this is the part that I found funny about this whole thing, though, not peeve. I'm going to move on from my pet peeve. This part right here. So CNBC, as major news organizations do now, they put this segment on YouTube. Pretty common for them to do all sorts of segments from all sorts of major news outlets. Yet they do this. And so what happened here is that this got highlighted within the XRP community, and it was encouraged for people to downvote this video clip that CNBC posted. This is not something Jay Clayton posted. This is CNBC that posted this. And you can see, and this, I admit this is, like, it's comical, but here you can see, at this point, there were 5,400 views whenever the screen grab was taken, 28 thumbs up, 1,200 thumbs down. And this is the official YouTube channel, 1.49 million subscribers for CNBC. So I gotta say this, as comical as I found this, it's not right. It's really not right. It's because, like, understand, you're not harming Jay Clayton one bit by doing this. You are harming CNBC, which I think is operating just fine. Like, I think they've been fair to Ripple. They've been fair to XRP, generally speaking. And so just because they have somebody on that has a viewpoint that we think is outlined with reality, just because this person's reprehensible, like, you need to have diversity of perspective and opinion and thought. And so harming CNBC by doing a bunch of downvotes and encouraging that, I can't get behind that. So no offense to you guys if you're listening and you're one of the people that downvoted it. And if you feel differently, that's fine. I'm just sharing with you my opinion. All right, now into the real hard-hitting question. I'm going to answer this for you. Fruits often mistaken for vegetables. You thought I wasn't going to... You thought I was just saying that at the beginning of the video. No, I'm going to answer this damn question for you. You probably have a pretty good concept of which foods are considered fruits and which are considered vegetables, at least in culinary terms. And this comes from healthline.com. However, there are several plants that are technically fruits. though they're often classified as vegetables because of their taste. Tomatoes are the most well-known and controversial example of this. In 1893, the U.S. Supreme Court actually ruled that tomatoes should be classified as vegetables, rather than fruits under U.S. customs and regulations. Now, botanically speaking, tomatoes fit the definition of a fruit. However, they're still commonly referred to as vegetables because of their flavor profile. And then they cite some other examples right there. And so there you go. Tomato actually a fruit, even though the flavor profile many would say is in line with a vegetable. And now you've got I've got the answer. This is why people come to the Moon Lambo channel. You got some information about the SEC, what's going on in the case against Ripple. You've got my dog vomiting, and now you know that tomatoes are actually a fruit and not a vegetable. Playa, what more can you ask for? I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Lambo.